Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So we're back today to where it all began. So I'm not going to say when my sim racing adventure started because that's corny, cheesy and is not what I mean. But when I first started wanting to do something that wasn't part of Gran Turismo's sport mode, i.e. punt fast, I put a little bit of a reach out. Anyone know any groups? And the group that I race with now was the first one and the most commonly recommended. So the group that I race in now hosts what is collectively the largest non-official race league on the game, which is a big achievement. So how many players play this thing, which is a lot, to have nearly 100 drivers in one league actively playing week in week out is quite an achievement. So the way they sort of structure it, one bloke is the overlord. We call him Lord Dennis. We don't call him Lord Dennis, we just call him Dickhead Sausage Fingers or whatever. But he basically set all this up. It's 5 or 6 leagues. You have 16 drivers in each one. Each driver represents a team. The teams are just randomly picked. There's no logic behind them. You just randomly get selected into a team. I'm part of Team Michelin. You can see Haz next to me is also part of Team Michelin. We've got like 3 or 4 drivers in this league. So League 4 that we're in is come to known as the Michelin or Ginsters League, because that's the main teams that are represented in here. Logitech defending champions. There's a few other different ones kicking about as well. The race we're doing today is 30 minutes at Bathurst, so all the races in the GTTCC, which is what the league's called. I'll just call it Touring Car Championship or something. They're all 30 minutes long. Per race weekend or race event, you do a qualifying, which we've done. I've qualified pole. You then do a reverse grid race at another track, and we'll cover that separately in another video because it is currently approaching midnight and I can't be bothered to do 2 races in one night, so I'll do it tomorrow. So the cars then, cars are limited to, I think it's 390 horsepower. Group 4, 1,100 kilograms. So you get free choice of group 4, but what you'll notice when I do this is that most people choose the bloody Porsche. VR has gone for the GTR. There's a BMW M4 in here. There's a Scirocco somewhere. There's a Mustang, which is a very odd choice, it has to be said. Lexus, again, odd choice. Peugeot goes beyond being an odd choice. That's just downright deluded. Scirocco, you know what? Underrated car. Last year with last season's regs, that was a very good car. So last year it was slightly different. We had 2 cars to pick from, so you had to choose 2 different types of vehicle. And this Scirocco was actually a really good choice. It was quite popular. BMW M4, and then there's obviously the Porkers. So we'll get the action underway without further ado. I'm probably going to skip through parts of it. Bobby's just given me a little bit of a very quick 2-minute how to use SHAREfactory sort of education, so if the editing's crap, blame him. Don't get on his bad side if you own a dog. It won't end well for you or the dog. Word of warning. But yeah, we'll get into it and just see what happens in this, the first race of the long-awaited Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship. Let's go! Well, we'll wait about 5 minutes for the lights to go out. This turn one's going to be a bit of a melee. I think most people get through it cleanly, but it usually is a bit of a melee. So we get underway. Everyone seems to get a bit of a good start. Mutt does bog down a little bit. Is that going to let anyone behind through? Just going to pause it there actually. I'm just going to stick this on. It's going to help me out. There we go. So yeah, Mutt does lose out, I think, to Data Smoker, who gets himself up into 4th position. A couple of movers down the field. Let's see how everyone's getting on. So Fiala gets away well. Shearer's up into 7th, but he's got a battle with Steve Stones and Wilkie up behind him, so these guys are really going for it. Too wide into Griffin's usually only ends one way, and that's someone smashing into the wall on the left hand side. Everyone seems to have done that moderately okay. As we now come into the cutting, Steve Stones just gets a tap and goes onto the wall. Shearer makes it around the inside. Steve thinks better of coming straight back at him and just sort of sticks in his rear mirror for the time being. All the while Shearer in that Mustang probably takes a little bit too much curb. That's going to throw him out wide. That's going to compromise his line. Steve Stones just stick it down the inside and gets the move done. There's a little bit of contact by the looks of things, but it's a narrow track at Bathurst, so that is sometimes unavoidable. There is then what can only be described as an utter clusterfuck coming down the S's. So CB Gamer just gets it a little bit wrong. Shearer then taps the back of him. It's going to back the rest of the pack up. Everyone's then going to want to get back up to speed, so Turner's going to throw one down the inside. Shearer then comes back across the track just after tapping the wall, and CB Gamer's back involved again. He's just getting all out of hand here. Meanwhile, Jeff and Akbar just hang back, thinking they'd probably rather not be involved in this. But they're now try and make their way through. So that's the back sorted out. Let's have a look what's going on a little bit further in the field now. Things have calmed down. So Wilkie's in 8th. Steve Stones is having a pop at Viali, but doesn't manage to make that move stick. Viali, part of the current champions Logitech. Mutt's making a move on Dark Smoker, as he knows, doesn't manage to get that one done at this moment in time. Dark Smoker done well, he's held that position all lap, but Mutt's going to launch one up the inside. Does he get that move done? No. Dark Smoker again holds it quite well, but gets on the power a little bit too early, just has to back out, and that's going to let Mutt up into 4th, but Dark Smoker can just hold on to his slipstream and get himself back up to speed quite quickly. Just to talk about Dark Smoker for a minute, because he gave me a shout out on his stream, so I'm going to return the favour. He streams his point of view during these races, so click the description below. You'll see a number of links, because you'll see at the end of the video why. His channel is in there. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, put him off during the races if he's close to me. He's a good bloke, to be fair. He's not too bad, I don't suppose. And you'll also see a couple of logos on his car that we'll talk about a little later on. But all the meanwhile, he's still having a pop at Mutt. Just gets a little bit too much of the wall, and that's going to distract his lap for the time being. So as we come into the S's then for the second time, Viali's closing in on these two who are having a little bit of a battle. Wilkie is currently fending off Steve Stones, but he's got a penalty to worry about. Wilkie was quite vocal about not liking this particular part of the track in that Porsche. It does. The Porsche takes a lot of getting used to, and you have to drive it in a very particular way to get the best out of it. I did put in, admittedly, quite a good qualifying lap by mastering that technique. It's all about how you apply the brakes and when and where, and trail braking and using the gears to slow the car rather than the brakes in some cases, because depending on how your brake balance is set to control it, it can just chuck the weight around, and that's not what you want on a downhill left right bit. So you have to be very careful with that. Meanwhile, Wilkie's holding on to that. Viali's trying to escape and get onto the back of Dark Smoker. Catching up to the top guys then, so B-Rated's currently trying to make a break from Mutt. So B-Rated part of Pasty team. It's not past, is it? Jinx, don't they make pies? And Mr. Meat and Potato. We've got two Michelin guys up ahead, so we've got Has91. And he's broke away from B-Rated a little bit. He's probably closer to me than B-Rated is close to him. I'm up in first. I've led from the start really, and my objective at this point in the race is to make a clean getaway, in essence. So we'll probably stick on board with me just around this top bit, just so you can sort of see how I drove it. In fact, we'll go on board and you can just have a look at this. I don't even know if this is a good lap, because in race trim I tend to take it a little bit steady and just not push the car too much. You'll see me off the power there. I was in qualifying, I was flat out, so what I was doing here was braking just as you enter, and then the braking is minimal, and I'm just using the gears at the right timing to slow the car down. I could have took that quicker, and I was taking it quicker many times throughout. This is the hardest corner, to be fair, for me. Plugged it anyway, but it's just power through, so not bad. I think I remember taking it better throughout the race, but looking behind, I can still see he's probably far enough back for me to not worry about him at this particular time, but I'm monitoring the gap. And at this stage I'm trying to build it, so I'm pushing relatively hard, but I'm not putting myself at risk of binning it. So lap 3 is just about to conclude for me. Just finish out this lap with me, and then we'll catch up with the rest of the field and see how they're all going on. So what's this time going to be? So that's a 2:05.7. I don't know if I beat that later on, I'm not too sure. Can't remember. I think at some point I do. So I say on party chat that I've got to stop pushing, because I just end up going nuts for it. So Has still in second, followed by B-Rated, who's not managing to get rid of Mutt anytime soon. Those two fighting it out to the bitter end. Fiala's not far behind that pack, and he's starting to pull away from Wilkie, who himself is gaining time on Steve Stones. Steve is himself gaining time on Dark Smoker, who's, if you remember, got himself into 4th position at the start and has lost himself a couple of places. So he's not having a great race so far, his Dark Smoker. I think he's enjoying his day out here. By the sounds of things, I think he enjoys the reverse grids more than these ones. Sayrex in the Lexus, getting on in 9th. I can't remember where he started on the grid, to be fair, so it's hard to say whether he's having a comparative race. Turner in the BMW. I was close to picking that car, very close to picking that car, because I love it. It's one of my favourite cars on the game. In fact, I think it's the car I've done the most mileage in. But I didn't. I went for the Porsche, because if you didn't have the Porsche, you weren't competitive. So if you see his best lap time is 4.5 seconds off mine, and I'm in the Porsche. So what does that tell you? Porsche is quick. Akbar Gaming, still got Jeff hanging on to him. So these two seemingly just, these two just stick together. I think they like each other quite a lot, because they didn't want to become separate. Jeff taking this series of corners really well, to be fair, just because what Jeff's got to have in consideration at the minute is, even though the Group 4 cars and the aero on them isn't that dramatic, he's still going to get some outwash from the big rear wing on that Peugeot. So it's going to affect his turning and everything else. So that Peugeot's going to be chucking out a little bit of dirty air, and he needs to be aware of that. SHARE20, having a bit of a race to forget at this minute in time. He's got himself a little penalty, but didn't need to worry about that too much. Currently he's racing just kind of on his own. And yeah, he's down there at the minute, but we'll see how he gets on a little bit later on. Mustang's a strange choice, I'm not gonna lie, but he's American, so he's probably just being patriotic. I just think with these regulations, the Mustang isn't a great car. I'm not a fan of the Group 4 Mustang as it is. The Group 3 car is a fantastic car, and it's a car I drive a lot. I've also got a NASCAR livery in mind, but in Group 4 trim, not a fan. And CB, another Porsche driver. And he's obviously with the Petronas team as he goes cutting the grass. So we'll probably skip ahead a few laps now. There's not too much to see at this stage. We'll catch up with you in a few laps time. We join the action then on lap 10. We've got Dark Smoker now, who's really caught up to Steve Stones. As they approach Griffins, is Dark Smoker going to throw another move up here? It seems to be his favourite place to do it. He's not. Steve is going to get his exit a little bit wrong, though. It's going to compromise his speed coming up the mountain. Dark Smoker's going to be able to get the move done before we enter into the tight twisty section going up the mountain. And a lovely move. So the next car up the road for Dark Smoker is Viali. Viali has got a little bit of a gap to him, so he's got some chasing to do. And he's only got 9 minutes or so left to do it in the race. So with each lap taking just over 2 minutes. He's only really got 3 or 4 laps in order to catch Viali. So he's probably got to consider at this point, does he solidify 6 and just try and pull a gap to Steve Stones? Or does he really push and go after Viali, but take a little bit more risk in doing so? We'll see. All the whilst he's catching him. Catching up with some action a little bit further down the field, so we're now on lap 12. There's only 5 minutes to go in this race, so not much chance now for moves to be made. If you're gonna go for it, now's about your time. So on board, well, we're following Jeff as he's been chasing down Akbar Gaming for a couple of laps now. Akbar in the Peugeot, Jeff in the VW Sirocco. So the VW is probably a better car in the straight line, but the Peugeot will corner better. Jeff seemingly able to hold on in the twisty section, so obviously he's doing a very good job in that car. And he should have the edge coming down the Conrod straight, so that's probably where he's going to look to make his move. At the minute, as he just sort of approaches the S's, he'll just want to hold on to the coattails of that Peugeot, basically get himself a good exit and aim to make moves there. This is the battle for 11th place now. Both drivers taking it really cleanly through the S's, so that's great driving from both these guys. Lovely turnings there. Looks like Akbar takes a narrow line. Jeff just tries to get a bit more speed. Looks like he's going to do just that. And let's just jump on board with Akbar and just see if we can see Jeff close in. So the Sirocco should have superior power. Yeah, you can see him starting to come now. So yeah, Jeff's really chasing him down. Akbar's not going to be able to do much about this. Jeff just cuts the grass on the outside but makes the move done. Fantastic, just on the braking. Brilliant move there by Jeff. Probably a contender for overtake of the week, that mate. That was last of the late breakers, sent it. Let's see if Akbar can come back at him. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. No, he goes for it, just gives him a little bump. But Akbar waits for him. See, one of the rules of the MRC is that if you do bump a driver off track, which Akbar did just then, mistakenly, didn't mean to do it, there was no ill intent there. If there was, he would have buggered off into the distance. You wait for the guy you've bumped off, and you don't gain a position by being an unfair driver. So credit to Akbar Gaming for that. Great racing from both of these guys. Let's have a bit of a check up. So coming to the top 10 then, in 10th we've got Turner in the BMW. He's chasing Wilkie down at the minute. Wilkie has just made a mistake coming up the mountain, but this is a bit where you can't really pass. So providing Wilkie can do the rest of this section smoothly, he should be okay. So Wilkie's holding in tonight for the minute. He's got a little bit of a gap to Sayex up ahead in the Lexus, who himself has got a little bit of a gap to Dark Smoker now. I say a little bit of a gap. Dark Smoker's pretty much solidified that. Unfortunately though, he's not really gained on Steve Stones, but he has solidified this 7th place. So pending any mistakes, he should be absolutely fine. Steve Stones again is running on his own currently. So Viali is quite a way up in the distance. And he's not going to worry about Dark Smoker filling his mirrors. Viali now is beginning his 14th lap. He is chasing down Mutz, who we will be able to see up ahead. Because Mutt is only just now entering Griffins. In turn though, Mutt isn't too far behind the battle for second, which is starting to get a bit heated now. Well, not heated, but closer. So B-rated has started to reel in Has 91 a little bit. There was a bit more of a gap between these two when we last checked the action out. So Has 91 has got a B-rated to worry about, and he'll be filling his mirrors very soon because he's now starting to push even harder. You can see B-rated has just done his personal best time of 2:06.5. So a very good lap there from B-rated. Meanwhile, Has is lapping a little bit slower, but probably just taking it a little bit more cautiously in the places he knows he can. At this point, I have buggered off. I've got quite a sizable gap now. The two lads who just covered it have only just come around that, well, they're just starting to come onto that straight, whereas I'm at the end of it. So I've not given myself much coverage. That's because, in fairness, there wasn't really much to my race. You know, not much to say. I was able to just take a little bit of advantage of the guys behind fighting and get away into the distance, really. We'll see if I fare any differently coming into the latter stages, though. So this is probably going to be the final lap of the race now, because we're closing in on the 30-minute timer. So I'm lapping in the 2:05s for my fastest lap. So now we'll probably follow the. In fact, we'll have as these guys lap round, because I was made aware that these two got a lot closer coming round. So we'll flick back to these. We'll just see how everyone else is getting on. Mutt is not too far behind. So yeah, as you can see, B-rated and has just away in the distance. Viala's already crossed the line. So the time has run out and Viali crosses the line to solidify a 5th position. Steve Stones is going to do that one next, and he'll get himself a solid 6th place. Because the top 4 cross the line before the timer ran out, we have to complete another lap. Dark Smoke is now coming around to get 7th in the bag. So a bit of a disappointing race for him. He'll probably be ruining a few issues in that race he had. Obviously, he had that spin at the top. You know, he'll probably be wondering, without that, would he have? Well, he definitely would be further up the field, because that cost him a considerable amount of time. Sayox now closely followed by Turner, who's managed to get himself past Wilkie and into 9th. Wilkie solidifies himself in the top 10. Jeff, after that great battle with Akbar, is going to come home in 11th. Just as we see, absolute hell break loose. I'm just going to see what happens here. Let's have a look. So it looks like Shearer was involved in this. Let's have a look what goes on. It just looks like he's done break. Right, okay. Interesting. I think I'll not say anything about that. So I'm going to come through to finish. Although the real action's going to be here, so yeah, look at this. This is closed down a fair bit now. So Has 91's going to be looking in his review mirrors. Probably knows that Phil's pushing like a nutter. Closes a lot in that braking zone. Now he's probably within realms of being able to make a Ricardo-esque dive bomb, and he sort of sticks his nose out as if he's going to do that. Does he? No, he just runs himself wide a little bit. And where's Phil? Where's Phil gone? Right, we need to go back. We need to go back and just follow Phil. That's why I keep saying Phil, because I know him as Phil, but he's actually B-rated in the game. So Phil comes up, yeah, brakes really late, goes for a bit of a lunge. He's still on the brakes at this point, and yeah, just spins it on the last corner. This is going to let Mutt through, is it? Mutt powers around, Phil's just trying to get back up to speed. Mutt just comes through to claim third. That's a 1-2-3 for Michelin team. So a great result there for the Michelin guys. Right, so that's race 1 done and dusted. I'm just going to take this opportunity at the end of the video, just now we've gone through the action and what happened and the highs and the lows, to talk about Kika. So it's something that you've no doubt heard me talk about before. I plaster my car in little logos. I don't make it too obvious. Dark Smoker does a much better job of highlighting this than I do, but I tend to put little logos all over the place. So you can see I've got the key cards there, and then one on the bonnet, and then one's on the side and stuff. So in August there are in total 4 sim racing groups. So there's Mature Racing Club, there's NGR, there's DC Sim Racing, and there's another one that the name evades me because it's Dutch. 3rd of August at 5 o'clock we're going to be doing 6-hour endurance racing in GT3 cars at Le Mans. and it's all in aid of Kika. Now there's going to be some links in the description below. You've heard me talk about it at length before. Yeah, to be fair, guys, I just wanted to really sort of engage with us on this and get involved, because it's a charity that, to be fair, we at the start of it we were just thinking, oh, it's got to be someone who's just giving Paige to get the dog a new haircut or something. But the reality is, there's kids in the world that get cancer, and it's as a father, it's fucking heartbreaking that, you know, there's kids that have to go through it. So if there's anything that I can do to help with that, I will. Getting involved in this is just one of those things. The groups behind it have got massively behind it as well. So Mark from NGR, Dennis from MRC, there's a couple of lads like Dion, Andre and stuff that have really started championing this as well. Dark Smoke has got massively behind it, and he's going to be running commentary with Potter on the MRC League. Chances are I'll be racing. I'm probably not going to be doing commentary for it. Chances are I'll actually race the race. I'm not too sure though. To be fair, I've just said to the boys, whatever they want me to do, I'll do. Yeah, so look, if you're remotely interested in it, click the links in the description below. If you just want to support the charity and you can't be bothered watching or entering a 6-hour endurance race, still click the link below. Chuck a few euros into the pot for it. You probably won't miss it too much, but it'll go a long way to helping the charity out. If you click through the link, the Active for Kika link that's in the description, that will actually register your donation against the competition we're doing. So it'll sort of say that these guys doing this competition have been part of raising this, and it'll sort of give us a little bit more, I'm not going to say recognition, because that's the wrong word, but you know, it'll give the guys doing it a little bit more sort of impetus to keep on going and not give up the fight, really. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to round it off there. Thank you for watching Race 1 review. I'll get Race 2's done soon, which is the reverse grid from Panty Crow, as I call it. I'll hopefully get that written up in the next couple of days. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, which is actually probably when this video will drop, because rendering takes an absolute lifetime, I will drop, so I'll be live doing the final GT3 race, which is also from Le Mans. So a lot coming up in the coming days. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Take it easy.